this episode of the Kikino Show. Today we are in Harlem at the newly created Renaissance Hotel, and it is stunning. It is right next to the Apollo Theater. It is an ode to all of the legends of Harlem, and when you are in New York, you have to check it out. It is a beautiful hotel. Now, we're not here to talk about Harlem in this episode yet. I'll circle back with you on that one. Today I'm here with one of my good friends, Chantel, and we are going to talk about Colombia. Why? Because we have both visited Colombia and we have a lot of things that we've shared about Colombia, but I want to hear your thoughts on Colombia. And I mean the country.
Not the university. Or South Carolina.
Exactly. The country of Colombia. What were your highlights? Tell me about Colombia.
Loved Colombia. So I visited Colombia with my family over the summer. We did 2 months, and we decided to go there because of the low cost. So the airplane tickets were pretty inexpensive, and then we did a little research on the economy and saw that at the time it was 4,000 Colombian pesos to $1.
Which goes a long way.
Which goes a real long way.
Yes.
I admit I was a little bit reserved about going to Colombia because of the history of the country. And then going with a small child. My son is 9, at the time he was 8. And I speak Spanish. My husband doesn't. So just making sure we can get around was a little concerning. But I have to admit, when I went to Colombia, I felt at home.
Just like you, my dad, when I said, oh, we're going to Colombia, he's like, Colombia?
Yeah.
But it surprises people to know just how contemporary,
beautiful. Like, they got AC. I was like, they got AC and they have ice with water. Like, we're gonna be good.
Right? It's very contemporary, very modern.
But for the most part, just the people were wonderful. The food was amazing. The city, what's it called?
The rainforest.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Just everything was just truly amazing. We ended up deciding to go to Cartagena first because it's a big city, but not too big. So we actually avoided Medellin and Bogota, which are probably the places that people go to. Yeah, because we wanted smaller, not as chaotic, just kind of as we got our bearings.
So what were all the cities that you visited?
So Cartagena was our first. Then we stayed the majority of our time in Manizales, which is part of the coffee region, the Eje Cafetero.
Is the coffee there everything that it's lived like? Does it live up to its hype or not?
So I have to admit, I feel bad. I'm sorry, Colombia. The coffee just did not do it for me.
That's so shocking.
It smelled great. We went on a coffee tour where we got to pick coffee and got to see the entire process. But I have to admit, my most favorite coffee was what they call the tinto, which is the little coffee that comes in a little white cup that they sell on the street for like 25 cents.
That's what we loved.
Yep,
that was like the best coffee ever. I don't even drink coffee, and I was drinking that every day. Yes, the little vendor on the street
with the bicycle thing, or So that was the coffee we went to. None of the fancy schmancy things that were in the coffee shops. Like you, I just thought it was really fantastic.
That was right. I mean, we was like looking for the coffee guy every day.
Yeah, seriously. I had my regular coffee.
There was one day he wasn't there, and we were like,
you felt it, right?
Upset.
I know. I was like, what happened to him? I agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yes, I love it.
And then we ended up going back to Cartagena to finish off our trip. And we didn't do so much Cartagena, like Old Town. We ended up going to Palenque. Which is like the first free town. Yeah.
Okay, please tell us everything. Tell us why Palenque is important. What's special about Palenque?
So Palenque is the first free town in the Americas.
And Palenque is the first African. It's the first freed African town. So basically, when the Africans got taken to Colombia, they scrammed. They went into the mountains and they hid and they created their their own town, and it's the first free
own language.
African town, their own language. Beautiful humans. I got a chance to meet a lot of the Palenque when we were in Cartagena.
Very cool.
Very, very, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us for this episode on Cartagena. I am so excited that you sat down and you broke down your experience for us and for the audience. So, without further discussion, let's talk about Cartagena. Hello, welcome to my show. I am Kia Kino, and today I am in beautiful Cartagena, Colombia. Now, let me tell you, this place is so magical, from the rich history to the amazing people to the very diverse culture. I mean, like, I have just been blown away by Cartagena. Now, we came to Cartagena because we are celebrating my husband's birthday, and it's just a beautiful opportunity to celebrate the miracle of life. And that's actually what I want to talk today about. Miracles. You know, like, we're in this beautiful place, and it's like the concept and the energy around miracles is just swirling everywhere. And when I think about the concept of miracles, you know, like, I think, well, what do I have to do to receive a miracle? Or maybe what am I doing to not receive a miracle? You know, when you think about the word miracle, it just feels miraculous. It feels big. It feels supernatural. And so I have a couple of things that have come to my mind when it comes to the concept of miracles. I was at church not too long ago, and the minister that was preaching that day had this really interesting thing that like pretty much sunk into my head. So when Jesus went through his resurrection, he came back, and as soon as he came back, he came and, like, you know, revealed himself to his disciples. And during Pentecost, it was really interesting because it said, you know, he met with his disciples, and some of them did not believe. Some of them doubted. And the thing that really stuck out to me about the concept that some of his disciples doubted is that, like, don't believe your lying eyes. Now, Jesus, they hung out with him for all that time, for years. He made all those miracles. He healed sick. He healed people that were blind. He did all of those things. And they were there with Jesus during that time. And still, when he had his resurrection, they still didn't believe. And so that leads me to question, even myself, how many times do I have the opportunity to experience a miracle, but the thing that's keeping me from experiencing it is just my own disbelief, my own lack of faith, and God has been working in my life in so many ways throughout my entire life, but I have consistently, like, had to ask myself, am I missing something? Could I have experienced a miracle, but I just didn't because I just didn't open my heart? So this is the question that I have for you. How many times have you potentially been in a place to receive a miracle, but it was your own disbelief that kind of blocked it? The second thing that I think about when I think about miracles, the Stoic philosophers have this concept that your obstacle is your path. Now, what do they mean by that? Well, basically, the thing that you think is keeping you from something, or the thing that you think is, well, basically your obstacle, your enemy, that might be your path to it. Now, I have a really cool story about how this has recently manifested in my life. So the day that we were coming to Cartagena, as soon as we wake up, we had packed the night before, and it was thundering and lightning. I mean, like, we were like, oh my God, we're not going to be able to even be on the flight. They're probably going to cancel it. But we went to the airport anyway, and, you know, our flight was late, but we did make the flight. However, when we got to Cartagena, it was a super long line to get through customs. And so that was like another 2 hours. So something that should have taken 3 to 4 hours ended up taking 8 hours. My husband, he's never been here. I've never been here. And he was like, I don't like it. I don't want to be here again. long story short, we get through all of that, the ups and downs, and we finally make it to our hotel, and we put our stuff down, we come out, and it is magical. So this is like such a great example of like that thing that was an obstacle. We didn't even know if we were going to be able to make it. It's so complicated, so complex, way too much time. Once we finally got here, this place has been such an amazing space of healing and joy and just like beautiful experience, a beautiful experience. But we had to get through the obstacle in order to have this experience. So the obstacle can sometimes be your path. I would say last, when I think about the idea of a miracle and the wondrousness of a miracle, sometimes I feel like miracles can happen within you. Like you can be a miracle. Okay, so how can you be a miracle? Number one, I think a lot of us need to be a miracle for ourselves, meaning we have to give ourselves a lot more grace. We do a lot. We have so much on our shoulders. People expect so much of us, but sometimes you just have to love on yourself. Sometimes you just have to give yourself space to breathe. Be your own miracle. The other way that you can be a miracle to, somebody, even not yourself, is to maybe if you see somebody that's dressed very nice, tell them, hey, you're looking good today. Or if you see somebody that is down, maybe give them a positive word. There's so many ways that we can be miracles just in and of ourselves, both to ourselves and to other people. So that's my thoughts about how to experience miracles, how to receive miracles, how to embrace miracles, and how to make sure that, you're in the right mindset to even experience them. From beautiful Cartagena, Colombia, I hope you enjoyed this word for today. And if you did, please like, comment, and share. Peace.